That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to recharge on Shabbat. It's not always the case. All right, can one of you make sure our sound is working? We had sound problems last.
Tell you about something else. I got some feedback.
Oh.
Yeah, I got some. I don't know if you watched the videos. So I got some feedback that we need to be closer to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great feedback. Oh, nothing happened to it. It's still available.
So for better or worse, when they're singing, Rabbi, you are the loudest voice.
I am?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Sorry. Everyone here's a rabbi. Okay. I'll stand back. Y'all stand forward. I can't sing softly. I'm like too into it. I'm so in the zone.
Somebody told us a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember exactly who, but they said that if you can leave the sound on before we start, just the sound of, I don't know, just whatever's going on, because they said that a lot of people don't know that we started.
Oh yeah.
They said if you instead of putting it on mute, if you leave it on,
Okay.
then they know that.
Sound's been on this whole time, FYI. Yeah. Hopefully everyone can hear us, actually, since yesterday it didn't work last week. Okay. But if one of you could get your phone out, if you can listen to it real quick, that'll be our test. Well, let's get, I guess first order of business is Roy to light the Shabbat candles. Is that something you want to do? All right, let's do that. Page 120 of your prayer books, and then Roy, let's get that going.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Roy. Okay, brothers, let's come up here. We got to figure out. I'm not too worried. We're in the same bubble, so we haven't for like 2 years now. So. But maybe what we can do is I can just step back further, you can step forward further. That way no one has to hear me sing. You know what I mean? All right, but I think it's Hinei Matov, right? What page is that? 128. So we're at Hinei Matov 128. I'm going to step back. Okay. Y'all are going to step forward. And here we go.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה.
Version change halfway through. Okay, Lechado D, which is on page 138. We're going to recite verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And then at 9, we're all going to face the entrance and greet the Shabbat bride.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור מדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמות תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, נחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומיורי. אורי, אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We doing Shalom Aleichem? Yeah. Okay, page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharem, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Now we continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba ve'alma divrach yutev yamlik malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon ub'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kariv, V'imaru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mevarak, Le'alam Ulal Me'el Maya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishfak, V'yitpa'ar, V'yipromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitale, V'yitalal, Shemei Kedusha Barechu, Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Da'amiran be'alma, V'imaru, Amen. We now move to the Baruch Hu on page 146. Please rise. I feel like I'm just saying that to you, Roy.
La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Le'olam Va'ed.
Now we move to Ma'ariv Aravim on page 148.
Umavir yom, umavir yom, umavir yom, umevil laila. Umavil ben yom uben laila. Adonai tzvot shemo, el chai v'chayam, tamid yimlo. Aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim, Umavir yom, umavir yom, umavir yom, umevil laila. Umavil ben yom uben laila. Adonai tzvaot shemo, Echai v'chayam, tamid yimlo. Aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Ya la la la, 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 ya la la la. Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la.
We're going to move over now to page 151, which I'm going to read in the English on top of that page. As you taught Torah to those whom names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Move now to the Shema, which you can find on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch now move to the Via Hafta on page 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meyodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinartam levarnecha bar divarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha havaderech ushofpecha uvkumecha ukshartam leyot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neimnecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tiskeru vatzitem et chol mitzvotai v'utem kiroshim leilo echem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti echem eretz Mitzrayim liyot lachem leelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We now move to the Micha Mocha on page 158. I'm going to sing this up so loud, so you gotta get in there.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya 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 la 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 la. Mi kamocha baili madora, mi kamocha nedar b'chodesh, norati lo tosefele, norati lo tosefele, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la.
Now B'Shamru on page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובין, בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל ואת השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
And we now move into the Amidah on page 164 of your prayer books. I invite you to stand with us. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufiyai teilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו ואהבה מלך עוזר ומפשיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם עזרא שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב ליושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחלל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מחמוך בעל גבורות ומדום אלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. We're now going to continue silently until page 180 and we'll come back together for Osei Shalom. What happened to the third chair? Here, grab this one.
Osei shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, vimru amen. Osei shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael vimru amen. Yaseh shalom, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Okay, a few words of Torah. We have a problem in this week's Torah portion. Jacob is on his deathbed, which is a problem, but not the one I'm referring to. Anyways, Jacob is on his deathbed, and he decides to bless all of his children before he dies. Unfortunately, his blessings are rather asymmetrical and often cryptic. For example, all Asher gets is, his food is fat, he provides delicacies for a king. No one is really sure what Jacob is talking about, most of all Asher. Or Naphtali gets, a mountain ewe is born, bears lovely lambs in the folds. It's another head scratcher that Naphtali will spend the rest of his life attempting to understand. This is still not the problem I'm referring to. The problem is Joseph's blessing. Asher and Naphtali get 2 lines of blessings, while Joseph gets 20 lines of blessings. It's also cryptic, but the ending is pretty clear, and it goes like this. God of your father who helps you, and Shaddai who blesses you with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that couches below, blessings of the breast and womb, the blessings of your father surpass the blessings of my ancestors to the utmost bound of the eternal hills. May they rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of a prince among his brothers. Now, we know that Jacob likes Joseph a lot. His favored wife is Rachel, and this is the first son that Rachel was able to bear him. And we know that Jacob showed his favoritism openly by offering Joseph a special coat when he was a child. We also know that his favoritism made his other brothers incredibly jealous. So jealous, in fact, they claimed to Jacob that Joseph was killed by wild animals. Years later, when Jacob's sons revealed to their father that Joseph was alive after visiting him in Egypt, his father must have had some questions. Like, for example, why did you tell me that Joseph was killed by wild animals? Did his sons fess up and admit that they lied to their father? If so, I would imagine he would have had some follow-up questions, like why fake Joseph's death? Which at this point, I hope it becomes clear that Jacob's favoritism influenced his sons to exact revenge on Joseph. This is, of course, all hypothetical, but it would be very relevant conversation after a son comes back from the dead. Which leads us to our real problem. Why would Jacob so blatantly show such favoritism towards Joseph again? Yet Joseph at the time is probably, Joseph at the time is probably the most successful of his brothers. However, one would have hoped that Jacob learned his lesson. Showing too much favoritism creates family drama. This is also a problem for our Talmud scholars. And here's what they have to say on favoritism. A person should never distinguish one of his sons from among the other sons by giving him preferential treatment, as due to the weight of 2 selah of fine wool that Jacob gave to Joseph beyond what he gave the rest of his sons in making him a special coat. His brothers became jealous of him, and the matter unfolded, and our forefathers descended to Egypt. So the Talmud not only says that a father should not show preferential treatment, but uses the whole Joseph coat affair as its best example of why one should not show favoritism. Yet Jacob shows favoritism towards Joseph a second time while on his deathbed. And our Talmud scholars have a name for unfairly showing preferential treatment. It's called the evil eye. Us Jews are a real superstitious bunch, and we avoid the evil eye like we avoid the plague. In fact, we have numerous customs in our tradition that helps prevent the evil eye. For example, not having a baby naming until 8 days after the birth. Apparently, making a baby's name public before this time invites the evil eye. A modern example of an evil eye is any story where a character says, everything is going to be fine. We know that whoever says that just invited misfortune. Rabbi David Rosenfeld explains the evil eye really well, and he says, the concept behind it is actually rather straightforward. If we flaunt our blessings and draw undue attention to ourselves, it invokes the jealous notice of others. Drawing such negative attention also draws the notice of the heavenly court, and it causes our judgment to be revisited. Do we really deserve this blessing which has engendered the ill will of so many others? Thus, in the eyes of Judaism, evil eye is not some spooky, nebulous force which goes about attacking the unsuspecting. It is a logical phenomenon, and for the most part, the result of our own indiscreet behavior. So, our Talmud scholars believe that showing preferential treatment invokes the evil eye. And they feel strongly about this. For example, in part of the Talmud called Pirkei Avot, there's a quote that goes like this. Rabbi Joshua says, the evil eye, the evil inclination, and the hatred of the creations removes a person from the world. The Talmud puts the evil eye up there on a pedestal and claims it can essentially kill a person. So hopefully now you're beginning to see the problem with Jacob's 20-line blessing for Joseph. It flaunts the evil eye so badly that it practically shouts for there to be misfortune. And yet, Joseph turns out fine from Jacob's grave error. This becomes a bit of a head-scratcher for our Talmud scholars. Joseph is suddenly evil eye proof. They have lots of interesting reasons for why Joseph is protected. They use grammar, Joseph's reputation, and Joseph's knowledge of evil eye deflection as reasons why Joseph got off scot-free from Jacob's obvious favoritism. But my takeaway is that he didn't get away from the evil eye at all. In fact, Joseph's punishment for the evil eye is actually quite epic. You see, Joseph is a northern Israelite. He's the northern Israelites' guy. And we know that the north gets utterly obliterated into historical obscurity by the Assyrians in 721 BCE. And perhaps the Assyrian siege of the northern kingdom is all thanks to Jacob's 20-line blessing to Joseph here in this week's portion. Thank you. Okay, we're now going to move on to the Mishaberach, our prayer for healing, which you can find on page 371 of our prayer books. And before we go into the Mishaberach, I'm going to recite these names of people who are in need of healing. Tina Mink, Chris Converse, Jennifer Eskridge, Ian Clift, David Tobias, Katie Flagel, Lindsay Raber, Micah Purdy, Cheryl Lambriani, Laura Allen, Susan Super, Mary Jo Robinson, Melba Cook, Emmy Webb, Stephen Lamp, Russell Kress, Bill Ross, Alan Friedman, Russ Nog, Ross Rumack, Norma Haas, Ray Ellis, Judy Cantor, Carol Riven, Diane Kaplan, Craig Paulus, Philip Kaufman, and Nicole Neeson. Is there anyone who you are thinking of? Please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
587 of our prayer books. Move to 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihye Adonai echad u'shemo We now move to the mourner's Kaddish on page 598. And in our own community, we're thinking about these yard sites this week. Anna Cohen, Maurice Geckler, George Kerman, Abe Levy, and Marion Silverbrook. If there's someone who you are thinking of, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts. Zikronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Yit Gadal Yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'el Ma Divrach Yote V'Yamlik Malchute, B'chayechon U'V'Yamechon U'V'Chayer Chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala U'V'Zman Kari V'Imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarak Le'olam U'Lamei Almaya. Yit Barak V'Yishtabak V'Yit Pa'ar V'Yit Ramam V'Yit Naseh. V'Yitadar V'Taleh V'Talal Shemei Kudusha Barechu. Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata. Tushbechata V'Nechamata. Da'amiran Be'elma V'Imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'Chayim Aleni V'Yakol Yisrael V'Imru. Amen. Osei Shalom B'Imromav. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleni V'Yakol Yisrael V'Imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen. Okay, announcements. So tomorrow we've got Judaism 101 at 9 a.m. in our Zoom room. It'll be all about Jewish weddings. And then tomorrow is also our day where we volunteer at the Fairview Rec Center at 12:30 to help with the pop-up food bank there. So hopefully someone will be able to be there. Been kind of waylaid by having us, a little baby, but I'm trying to go this Saturday or tomorrow. So that's at 12:30 at the Fairview Rec Center. And then what else we got going on? Religious school is on winter break, and we'll be back January 9th. And that's all I can think of. Have I seen anything?
Morning Minyan on Wednesday.
Right, thank you. Morning Minyan every Wednesday at 8 a.m. It's a great time, great way to start your Wednesday. So please join us for that on our regular Zoom room. I think that's everything, right? Feel good? Feel good. Let's do it. All right. Closing melody. What y'all got for us?
Maya Failure.
Okay. What page are we on?
128.
128.
Maya Fehayom.
Sorry. Uh-oh. What happened? Okay.
Maya Fehayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Mayafe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Mayafe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate it. Always sound great. Yeah, thanks. Shabbat Shalom for everyone else.